Hi, here are the top 20 best free FPS shooter games in 2024. Let's start. In the finals, the action is observed from a first-person perspective. The pillar of the gameplay is multiplayer skirmishes during which we fight for victory in a variety of arenas. How we eliminate opponents depends solely on us. Although nothing prevents us from focusing solely on shooting and using a variety of gadgets or sneaking up on enemies and killing them silently with cold weapons, the production allows us to show much more creativity. In Operation Harsh Doorstop, players find themselves on the modern battlefield. The players divided into teams not only eliminate each other, but also perform various tasks. The objectives of the missions vary depending on the game mode, and their realization requires close cooperation of the whole team and choosing the right tactics. Apart from a wide arsenal of firearms and combat gadgets, the authors also provide us with a number of vehicles. XDefiant. As a first-person shooter, the game is mostly competitive. Players form teams and battle each other on special arenas, wielding pre-made weapon kits and special abilities possessed by chosen units. Each playable character has unique skills distinguishing them from the others. Spies from the Echelon group are known for surprise attacks, disorienting their opponents and intercepting valuable intel. Libertad members are typical support units. Their abilities buff and heal allies within their range. The factions present within the game have been borrowed from other Ubisoft series branded with Tom Clancy's name, such as Splinter Cell and The Division. Polygon is a tactical, multiplayer team first-person shooter. Using various weapons, you will battle with up to 32 players on large-scale maps. Properly managing your arsenal and skills, you will lead your team to victory. Veiled Experts is an exclusively online shooter in 5 vs 5 format. The game mostly uses third-person perspective, though players can switch to an FPP view for easier aiming. Each match follows the well-known search and destroy rules. One of the teams, the attackers, must eliminate all enemies or destroy indicated objects on the map. The defenders must prevent them from doing so. The search and destroy baseline was enhanced with some additional features. Hawked is a third-person game. Our primary objective is to extract artifacts. To achieve this, we must eliminate enemies, solve puzzles, and avoid traps. We'll face off against AI-controlled lizards and other players competing against us to achieve the same goals. There are also plenty of random events, such as randomly spawning, well-guarded caravans. All this means the game is very dynamic and fast-paced, and though we can play solo, we'll be better off as part of a renegade trio. Apex Legends is a first-person battle royale shooter. Up to 60 players can take part in the clashes, divided into 23-person teams. Every game starts in the same way, from landing on the board and then searching for weapons. You will find here, among others, shotguns, rifles, snipers, and machine guns. It is worth noting that the best equipment is on mobile supply ships. Landing on one of them may give us a considerable advantage over the competition. Warzone is a classic shooter in which the action is observed from the first-person perspective. We play the role of as soldiers, and the action takes place on a vast location, where you can find many interesting places known from previous parts of the series. We'll find a dam or a sawmill here. It is worth noting that all buildings are hand-designed, making each one unique. Up to 150 people can take part in a single game simultaneously. Players are dropped on the map with a parachute. The drop point can be selected, and then try to achieve their goals depending on the chosen game mode. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, players' characters start the match by parachuting from an airplane to their chosen location on the battlefield. Upon landing, they can switch between first-person and third-person perspectives while exploring abandoned post-communist buildings to find weapons, armor, and gear for a tactical advantage. Items like backpacks and bulletproof vests come in 3 quality levels, affecting character statistics. Players can customize weapons with upgrades like extended clips, silencers, and special sights, each altering gameplay significantly. Success hinges on strategic play, eliminating opponents, and surviving as long as possible. Fortnite Battle Royale features only a multiplayer mode in which a player has but one objective: stay alive until the match ends. 100 players are transported onto an island with almost nothing in their inventory. When over the battlefield, they have to exit their transport and skydive towards the location they see fit to start the match, for example, near buildings. It is important, as at the beginning of a match, a player is equipped only with a pickaxe, and he has to find or loot weapons, traps, and other pieces of gear. Thus, one has a bigger chance of finding something useful in a house or a farm. Counter-Strike 2 makes use of the first-person perspective. The game is heavily influenced by the series' previous installments. Players are divided into two teams, terrorists and special forces, competing against each other, trying to fulfill objectives determined by the current game mode, such as eliminating all foes, rescuing hostages, or disarming bombs. Success on the battlefield is rewarded with money, which players can spend on better equipment. Speaking of equipment, all items acquired in Counter-Strike Global Offensive can be imported here. Destiny 2. A player begins his journey from creating his own character. Gameplay revolves around exploration, completing consecutive story and secondary missions, as well as cooperating in multiplayer missions in order to develop one's character and acquiring better, more exotic pieces of gear. The developers have listened to the suggestions from the gaming community and implemented numerous improvements into the formula. Players can now explore better designed and much larger planets on which there are many places hiding hidden treasures, unique bosses, and side missions. Overwatch 2 is a dynamic online first-person shooter. The game features a wide roster of characters, nearly 40 at launch, each of whom with unique weaponry and special abilities, letting them function in specific roles in the team. This time the teams consist of 5 players each, the hero's abilities reworked to counteract hard countering, that is, dealing with a specific hero requiring the presence of another hero. Valorant is an online shooter where the player takes part in 5 versus 5 matches on a variety of maps designed for this purpose. The player has at his disposal a pool of characters representing various classes with different fighting styles. Each hero has skills, the basic one, available in each match for free, 2 optional ones, which can be purchased at the beginning of the round, and a 4th special one, which is obtained after making a sufficient number of killings or collecting power spheres available on the map. However, these, in most cases, only serve to tactically surprise opponents, and the most important role in duels is played by the player's good aiming and knowledge of maps. In Warframe, players control ancient warriors known as the Tenno, awakened in Earth's distant future to battle various factions in the Origin system. Using powerful Warframe's weapons and abilities, players complete missions. The game features procedurally generated levels, large open-world areas, and story-specific missions. Combining shooting, melee, parkour, and role-playing elements, players advance their Tenno with improved gear. Warframe includes both player versus environment and player versus player elements, supported by microtransactions for in-game item purchases or free acquisition through grinding. Planetside 2 is a game reaches for classic concepts, but serves them in a new way. As a result, the game bears features of modern-day shooters, such as involving controls or giving the player a sort of auto-health replenishment. It is the shield in this case. The players develop their characters through acquiring new skills. On the battlefield, one also has to pick one of several classes. Those were created to place emphasis on team play. Among the classes, the player will find the Light Assault, has a jetpack, the Medic, as well as the Engineer that specializes in repairing. Each of these classes serves a purpose and can do their share for the faction, not only through eliminating the enemies. The pillar of Battlefield 2042 is the multiplayer mode called All-Out Warfare, where up to 128 players can play at the same time. Here we can find 7 aforementioned maps on which we can play matches in Conquest and Breakthrough modes. In addition, a brand new game mode called Hazard Zone is available, where players are dropped into a location to collect data disks from downed satellites. Soldiers are given 2 chances to evacuate from the battlefield, and only a successful evacuation with the disks captured signifies victory and results in credits, allowing for the purchase of better equipment for the next round. Insurgency. Sandstorm consists of a wide range of gameplay modes, both PvP-based and cooperative. The first ones, in which 2 16-person teams stand up to fight, are Push and Firefight, where infantry soldiers fight on tight maps, and Capture the Base, in which on the vast battlefields we can use combat vehicles and flying machines. Modules based on cooperation of up to 8 players are the ones known from the previous part of the Checkpoint and Outpost series, as well as a new variant of the game called Operation. Payday 3. Playing as Legendary Burglar, players must skillfully steal valuable items while avoiding and eliminating AI-controlled opponents. They must also exhibit tactical abilities, assess the current situation, the abilities of each gang member, and the reliability of the plan. As the game progresses, we earn experience needed to unlock new abilities and become more skilled in wielding firearms. Though during our heists we'll mostly seize gold, money, or jewelry, we can also end up acquiring some new weapons which may prove crucial during subsequent missions. In Rainbow Six Siege, before playing, you choose your soldier's specialization from various options like Castle, Thermite, Mute, Ash, Sledge, or Smoke. Team composition is crucial, and each member complements the others in combat. Combat occurs in small, narrow locations where you clear rooms, eliminate terrorists, and free hostages. Tactics involve blowing up walls, planting explosives, and more. Playing as terrorists requires barricading doors and fortifying positions. To defeat a smart team, constant communication, teamwork, and proper tactics are essential. Ghost Recon Wildlands takes you to Bolivia, where a powerful drug cartel called Santa Blanca spreads terror, violence, and disorder. The developers gave players a vast open world that can be explored by sea, air, and land using a wide array of vehicles such as planes, motorbikes, boats, and helicopters. These solutions put the game closer to titles like Far Cry and Just Cause. Gameplay is entirely non-linear, and the way the story unfolds is determined by the player's actions, which have appropriate consequences in the game's world.